Yo, who's my subscriber? Analytics, chooser. For your dashboard, click audience and select subscribers. Creator dashboard. Oh, just trying to figure out some things with how this works. But I've got everything drying out. I'm about ready to go into the kiln for the first fire. I'm just gonna give them a nice little Brillo polish. Yeah, I know, it's a lot of Googling. How's my voice sound? Do I need to turn up the mic any? Nice. Well, basically what I'm trying to look up is I've got one subscriber already, but I don't know who it is. So I don't know how to thank them. Okay, I found it. It was my boy Juggerstab. All right, now I know how to find that. All right. I got me this here energy drink. What flavor is that? That's good. Strawberry apricot. Thanks for the sub. Dash, give me the tier 1 for 3 months straight up. Thanks. What's up, Sat? I am, in fact, the pot man. I think I might have to fix an audio issue. Sorry if I just blasted you guys there for a second. Still working out the kinks, but I got a whole bunch of new stuff. So right now I've got a little bit of voice echo, it sounds like. Is it still doing it now? I wonder. Of course, that could be a mic issue. Right now I'm polishing some stuff up before I can put it in the kiln. And I'm trying to work out some stream issues. I gotta set up all these alerts today. I can't remember how I did it. All right, so let's test my alert here. I think I do it. So we've got cool like alert noises and little things that pop up on the screen whenever things happen now. They're all mud related, which is, you know, nice. So I can do some tests to show you guys what I mean, like the way it works. So this is my, whenever I get a new follower, we get this one. I like a good one. So if you subscribe with Prime, which if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can have one free sub that you can use every 30 days on Twitch. So if somebody subscribes with Prime, we get this guy. When you subscribe for the first time, you get this guy. If you resubscribe, like month after month, you get this one. So that's it. If you invest with me, you're going to get dirty. If you give someone else a description or a subscription, and these are the ones you get if you just randomly give subs to the community. And this is the one if you give me bits. But yeah, that's what I spent my morning doing, was getting all these set up. But all right, now that that's working, let's get back to work. So what we're doing today is I've got all the stuff that I've yet to completely finish, and we're just getting it polished up so I can start loading it into the kiln. You know, just giving our bottoms a little bit of a scrape here. You can see here I've got this edge here I don't like. But you know what else I've got? Brillo pads. So I'm just going to take it in here. Give that guy a few turns. Look at that. And we'll go around the outside to just buff out any rough spots. Yeah, I know it's been a little while since I streamed last. I had a lot of real life stuff going on. Nothing major, just like we did like my marriage survived another house remodel. Well, not full house, but we did the bathroom this time. So I think me and the wife are doing good. Our relationship has survived 2 remodels. Which luckily, you know, surviving the remodels, it was like the day-to-day parts that were hard. Just not having like the full, you know, your full facilities of your house. Luckily, my wife's taste is a lot like mine. It's, for the most part, pretty timeless. You know, most things that look good, that are classic, kind of just look good forever. And she didn't hit me with anything crazy like, hey, let's put carpet in the bathroom. I think that might be like divorce material right there. I mean, to each their own, I guess, but if you think carpet is like good in a bathroom, you know, I'm not saying you should be institutionalized, but I think you should be checked out by a professional. I never thought about it. It's like a sweater for the floor of your house. Oh, I'll never be able to think of it without as not a sweater now, so thanks for that. No. Actually, I don't have any carpet in our house at all. So I say here that I bought the last affordable house in Jackson County. I bought the last affordable house in 2019. And some people then were telling me I paid too much for it, and I'm like, you guys don't even know. Because I knew everything. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's just pattern recognition or everything, but I knew in 2019 that things were about to get a little crazy. And I bought this place. One of the reasons why is because it was all hard floors of some sort, either old hardwood, tile. Yeah, it was all hardwood and tile, because I didn't want carpet, especially because the person I was with at the time had like a million animals. Well, not a million, just too many for me. It's like 3 cats, 2 dogs. And the animals were nice and all, but it's like, that's too many pets for 1,000 square feet, in my opinion. I know some people have more pets in less space, but let me tell you, I ain't one of them. I've got this annoying ridge right here that we're just, I make the joke, we'll clean it up in post. Well, that's where we're at. We're in post. What is it? Make sure she sits flat. Has the tiniest little bit of a wobble. Which side? Right here, so. Yeah, got it. Nice. Flat. Yeah, it definitely is. Silicosis is like a real risk, but as long as I don't breathe it, it's pretty good. It's not really a breezy day. I do have the garage door open to let some air in to help with my drying. Which, that's another thing that slowed me down a lot is it's been so humid the past couple days that everything's still pretty damp. But I know I'm still okay as far as the amount of dust because it's not stirred up, because I can't taste it and I can't smell it. The moment I start to taste or smell it, that's when I'm like, we gotta clean up. So I already buffed this one a little bit. I was cutting it off and I just took the smallest little chunk out of it there. So let's see if I can clean that up. Yeah, I was trying to get these off the tiles and I had a moment where I slipped and it just was like, man, that one's my fault. I'd say that's good enough. pretty good. All right. So this one has this, it's got this line right here that I just am not a fan of. So we're gonna buff that out. Yo, Bigger John. Thanks for the sub, man. Yo, 100 mud balls, dude. Nice, thank you. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. No, it does. It does mean a lot to me to have you guys in here while starting out. Oh, John, whenever y'all get some free time, y'all have to come back over. We'll chill. We can finish up that game, but you'll have to come see the house in the backyard. I've done a fair amount of cleaning. Now that I'm post-employed, I've actually had the mental energy to like go around here and actually get some stuff like cleaned up. Heck yeah. No, I was. I mean, being able to like have the mental clarity to not spend like my days off just inside the house doing nothing, mentally recharging. I was able to get like years worth of like neglect and trash out of the backyard. now I'm starting to smell a little bit of dirt. So we're starting to get pretty messy. Yeah, so that cleaned up pretty nice along there. I got that ridge out. Buffed out my rim, had a sharp spot. I'll carve on my initials into the bottom of it because I still don't have a stamp. It's like I'm back in first grade putting my initials on stuff. Oh, yeah? All right. Well, thank you. That's fine. I'll be here. Can't wait. It'll be like Christmas came early. Now these other group, I've got 4 more of these little cups down here that aren't quite ready. But you know what we can do? We can start polishing up these guys. I gotta be careful here because of these ridges. I don't want to accidentally get rid of the high spots. I gotta remember to actually keep it in frame if you guys want to watch. No, I keep turning to the side because I'm not wanting to blow it, to blow the excess like in front of me all over my computer stuff over here. So this of all the cups I made, this one is my wife's personal favorite. She keeps calling it the derpy cup, and I'm like, it's not. I didn't say it was derpy. It's dumpy. There's a big difference. Oh, my bottom is nice and thin on that. Look at it. It's not derpy, it's dumpy. Now, derpy pot, that thing, it'd be oblong. At least that's what that word means to me. A derpy pot is one you try to like make round and it comes out square. Yeah, this one's very good. I don't have to do too much fiddling on it. this one needs some work. All these weird texture lines in it. You know, I could probably let these go without these final touch-ups, but I'll tell you what, it's just worth it to do that extra effort. What always sucks is when you glaze fire one of these things and there's just a high spot or just like a little piece of grog or particulate sticking out, and the glaze just goes over top of it in a way that just basically makes it like a tiny knife sticking out of the cup. So you pick it up and you're just like, great, you know, because you can't sell somebody a pot that's gonna hurt them. You just personally, maybe that was like my teacher's influence in school. Yeah, she was great. She was awesome. But that's what she'd say, is you can't sell somebody a pot that'll hurt them. But she was brutal. Like that old Welsh lady was kind of crazy sometimes, but she's a great teacher, awesome influence. And she would verbally burn people to the ground. I remember being in class one day and we were making stuff, and this girl in class was like asking her what she thought about it. And she's like, oh, I mean, you know, what are you going to do with and the teacher? She didn't say how she thought. She just asked what she was going to do with it. And the student girl goes, I'm going to give it to my mom for Christmas. And our professor, without missing a beat, just rolled off her tongue like it was like, it's just like she was waking up in the morning. She just goes, "Oh, well, I wouldn't give that to my mother." There are certain things that people need to go through. I feel like people need to go through in life to like be a well balanced person. I think everybody should do a semester of brutal art school. That way you can learn to get constructively criticized. Because so many people nowadays, I just think, are just so scared of like criticism or being wrong. Like, that just feel the need to constantly defend themselves. And I don't like that. I don't think like that. Like, I'm wrong every day. Every single day, I'm wrong about something. But I think that was one of the things I learned in art school was that it's okay to be wrong as long as you're willing to admit it and focus on improvement. I also think everybody should work in a service industry job for a little while in their life, at least for a little bit. Maybe in like your teenage years or maybe your early 20s. That way you learn how the public is and you know how to act. All right. I think she's about ready to send too. I got the tiniest little crack here around this handle, but it's very, I won't even be able to show it on camera, honestly, but it's so small, I don't think it's gonna matter. What I can do though, is I can just take this edge here, edge of this tool, and I'm just gonna go in here and just press it in and just buff it. So hopefully, I think that'll fill it in. But some tiny little cracks where your handles join, as long as they're small, aren't the end of the world. Yeah, as long as they're just on like surface level. And a lot of times after you glaze, the glaze will just fill that in anyway. So one thing you can do is, if you're not sure too, one thing, you can't see my face by design, but you can close your eyes and run your fingers along the outside, and you'll feel stuff that you might not necessarily see at first. Yeah, this one needs some work. So what I'm trying to, let's see if you guys can see it. I'm trying to buff out this line deep in here. I don't like it. I don't want it there. But maybe So it's pretty deep. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get rid of it completely, but I can tell you what I can do. I can at least even it out. All right, so you can see there, it's not completely gone, but it looks a lot better because it's pretty much the same around the entire pot now. See, before it was more well defined on one side than the other. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that body. Let's start trimming, or not trimming, but polishing up around these handles here. Oh, this one's gonna need some cleanup. Look at that. Like through like here, on the bottom here. This is where me being in a hurry and trimming these things and moving them around a little too early came back to bite me, because I got impatient, worked on them a little too soon. I didn't mess them up or anything, but they were just really tacky. So now's when I have to go through and clean them up. Now inside here, I'm actually doing a little bit of sculpting. This may have been the first handle I put on too. Yeah, because it's not as clean as the other ones. And I remember that when we were putting these on, as I worked and was remembering how to do things, because it'd been forever, I was getting better and better with each one. Give it a little bit of a spit shine there. All right. We're still figuring this thing out. Oh yeah. We're getting this clean. You can see like stuff I'm trying to kind of trim off is like I'm going to get rid of the like this little bit right here. And there's some like unevenness there. Yeah, because obviously, I want to make money. I want to sell product and be able to support myself with what I'm doing here. But I think after working for a multi-billion-dollar company for so long, The thing I actually want to be able to do is to just provide a good product. Me and the wife were looking at the stuff out here last night because we'd been doing like yard work, and she was out back. We got a little grill. She was grilling up some chicken for us while I was doing some like straightening and cleaning of the yard stuff. And she was talking about how much she liked it, and she's like, "Oh, I want to keep all of it." Like, I'm like, you're discovering the worst part of being an artist, and especially I never really noticed it until I started doing ceramics. Thanks, man. She's just like, I like them all. And I'm like, yeah, that's the hardest part of doing this though, is you like them all. And you want to keep them all, but you can't. And you get used to doing things in your style too. Like there was a moment in college, and then like a couple years after, where there was at a place nearby there was a wood fire kiln, and we were working on something, and I looked up at a shelf nearby, and I saw something. It's like 20 feet away or something. I looked up, and I'm like, and there's just a couple pots up there, and I point at the one on the end. I said, "That's one of mine." And somebody says, "No, it's not. That's been up there for years." And I'm like, "No, that's mine. Pull it down, flip it over. It's got my name on the bottom, I promise you." And I was right. They handed it to me, and I walked out of there with it. One of the most insulting things a guy ever told me was college. We were dealing with a guy. He was kind of a freeloader. Went by the name of Bread, because bread's always baked. If you get that. Yeah, it's just one I'd made when I was in school. But it sat up on that shelf for probably 2 or 3 years, just as a decorative piece that they were like showing off, like, hey, this is some of like the work that, has been done here. Because I guess it had been missed during the unloading in the back of the kiln. And it wasn't one of my best ones. It was pretty mid, to be like honest, mid to bad. So when everything got unloaded, I wasn't looking for it, and I just forgot about it. But back to the bread guy. He was an awful freeloader. He basically just would crash on somebody's couch and like use their utilities and stuff and take advantage of their hospitality for as long as they let you. But I was real irritated one day, and I was trying to find one of my new cups, and I was walking around. I was freaking out. And just, if you know me in real life, I was being loud. I was being not aggressive toward anybody, because I'm kind of loud. I kind of yell. I get mad. But one thing I consciously do is try to not direct that anger or those emotions at somebody. Like I would much rather, project it into a room, and then, if I'm being too over the top, somebody will let me know and I can calm down or, leave. There's been a couple times where I'm just like, hey, I'm being a crazy person. I gotta leave. But I was mad, and I'm looking for this cup, and And he was trying to minimize because he had actually broken something of mine, something else, not like some ceramics piece earlier that day. And he looks at me and he just goes, "What's the big deal? You know, they all kind of look the same." And I just dead stop, just turned around. I was like, I can pick out from a lineup everything I've ever made. Because I don't have any kids. These is my kids. Closest thing I got. Well, except for 2 cats. Yo! Swamp Wife! That's you. I'm Swamp, and you're Swamp Wife, remember? All right, let's see how this looks. I might be done nitpicking it. And you're Swamp Wife, and Swamp Mom was in here earlier. If she's still in here, listening. That's right. My mother subbed to my channel today. My mommy believes in me and thinks I'm a very special man boy. Which, if you need to know what a man boy is, it's just a man who acts like an idiot half the time. Dude, that's Bob Ross. Half the time? Yeah, half the time. Every now and then I have to be serious. All right, I think that's done. See, you have another. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of them on the shelf over here. Here, I'll show you. I polished up old Dumpy here. Yeah, I got it polished up without breaking it, so that's good. Now the thing I always got to be careful with are these handles, making sure I don't hit them on a table or anything like that, because they are, the cup itself is sturdy enough. You know, I talked about when these things get dry like that, it's bone dry, and they kind of have the consistency of like chalk. The round shape of the cups, because you know arches, like curves, are pretty stable. You know, they hold weight and pressure like really good. But these handles, if you hit them from like the sides, can break off pretty easily. Here, I know I showed Swamp Life this earlier, but I've actually got some handles here from when I was pulling them and attaching them that I let dry out. But I'll say, you know, this was a handle that I didn't use and it dried out. And this is how easy it is to break it. Just that's it. And it does. It feels just like cracking a piece of chalk into. God, hey, clanker. God, you lucky my hands are dry. Let's ban this guy. Gone. Yeah, once everything's starting to get pretty dry. Well, actually, let's see if I can give you guys a little bit of an angle there. Yeah, so you see how there's the cups that I've done over there, and they've got that little bit of a lighter color, and then the vases are upside down next to them. Those vases still have a little bit of moisture in them that we need to try to get out. So they're not quite ready, but they will be either tonight or tomorrow morning. But yeah, we do the first firing after that, which I can show you guys over here. I've got the kiln open. Whenever we start to load, I'm gonna try to put this camera over there on the tripod. All right, so I can see that green bar in the background. If you're not subbed or you don't have Twitch Nitro, you'll probably be getting an ad here in a minute. It's gonna be 90 seconds, and I do one 90-second ad every 30 minutes. And the reason why is obviously, well, the most important reason is monetization. You know, people watch it, you know, you sit through the ad, I might get like a fraction of a penny. But the most important thing is I have to show 3 minutes of ads every hour. Because what that does is it keeps a pre-roll ads from appearing. And what that is like a pre-roll ad is like when you click on a new stream, it'll it plays an ad if you haven't played a certain amount. So I have to do, and that sucks. In a world where everyone's got ADHD, especially if you're on the internet like chronically, like I am, clicking on a stream and getting hit with an ad immediately that lasts for like a minute or two, you're just gonna go you're gonna go click on something else. Yeah. So if you're not subbed and you stay through the ad, just know that I really appreciate that. But yeah, 3 minutes, that's the absolute least amount of ads I can run an hour and keep the pre-roll ads from showing up. Step away and watch. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hit your ad quota for the day. Dude, I had the most bizarre thought the other day, and I don't know if this was done on like an episode of Black Mirror or something, or like a TV show I watched, but we were talking about those Neuralinks that like, I guess Elon Musk company has. It's the brain chip, basically. I don't want one. Let me just put that out there. I don't want one. I'm not going to get one because somebody can hack it. But I thought about a world. I thought about living in a world where everyone had a brain chip, like kind of controlled by AI, and like what like work would look like in that world. And I was like, wait, what if like you sold the processing power of your brain chip to like a company, kind of like a remote computer? So you get your brain chip, right? You clock into work. They use your brain as a processor while you're clocked in. And then at the end of your shift, you just wake up. Probably really tired. I know I was reading about sounds. Yeah, exactly. Just take your brain energy and monetize it. Now, I was reading about and watching like an interview with like the first guy, the first guy that got the Neuralink. He's paralyzed from like the neck down, and they got it for him so that way he could use a computer. And it started off like him learning to use it, like his brain adjusting to it. All he could do was like control a mouse. But as like a couple years went by, he started using it to play video games, like Counter-Strike, you know, like shooters. And then he's just like, yeah, it's cheating. I just think about shooting the guy, and then my character just shoots him. I'm telling you, if you guys think things are weird now, wait 20 years. It's gonna be 20 years. Things are gonna be weirder than you could possibly imagine. Personally, I'm here for it though. Bring on the crazy. As long as nobody gets hurt. You know, I chose to do this, but I saw a video the other day of a guy, I think he was living down in New Zealand or something, and it was talking about how he just lives like a non-traditional lifestyle from like the capitalist perspective. It started off with him waking up at like the butt crack of noon, and then he's like, all right, time to make some money. He boots up his computer, and I kid you not, this guy had an AI just playing online poker. So the dude, his AI wins him like $150 in online poker, and he just shuts it off and then goes about the rest of his day. Heads out, starts like ocean kayaking, and I'm just like, man, I still want to make pots, but in a crazy world where everything's so complicated, that's not the worst thing to do. And when I say he had an AI playing online poker, it's not like the AI was playing one game. He had like his PC, he was multi-boxing. He had like 12 different windows, and each one was playing a different poker game. It looked just like a bot farm from whenever you, if you've seen them, if you've ever played the online video games like World of Warcraft or like RuneScape or anything like that. That's how people make bots, like bot farms that will go through the game and get currency, and then they sell that for real money on the internet. Like, you know, I'll bring up Venezuela, not in an attempt to get political. We're not going to do that. But that, whenever they're, you know, everybody knows they got like different economic problems, whatever, you know, whatever causes it, whatever, you know, doesn't matter. But a lot of people over there would play RuneScape to make money, because they make more money playing RuneScape full time than they do at a job making minimum wage. And the lingo and, you know, stuff that happens in the online, in the game, that like from that is like really funny. For instance, they, you know, the players, the Venezuelans are out there like farming or out in the wilderness, and I heard my buddies, they call them the Vinnies. And the Vinnies would just be out there killing green dragons, I think it was, for money. You know, that's like a PvP zone. So, you know, my friend, it's player versus player. The way that game works is if you kill somebody in the PvP area, whatever stuff they drop, you get to keep. For real. Like that's one of the crazy things about that game is that game had its own in-game economy. I'm 100% serious when I say this too. Like a buddy of mine, he was making really good money at the time. He had a bunch of disposable income. Some people might go to concerts to spend it. Some people might spend it on alcohol or gambling. Well, he bought a bow, like a shooting bow, in a video game for $500 real dollars. And somebody got that in the game and then sold it to him. You guys remember NFTs? Before they totally fell off. That was just embezzling, right? Like everyone that were really into those, like the people promoting it, they were definitely just embezzling money. I'm alleging. I have no proof. Legally. Wife's home. Got to remember to work in front of the camera. All right, it's another one down. All my coffee cups have been polished and buffed. Now we're going to swap to these bowls. This rim that I cut onto the bottom of them works so well. It's so good for like that little bit. You can just pick it up. See? Upside down. Another thing that I like about having them like this is this rim on the bottom, this thick part helps whenever you're carrying stuff that's really hot. You can put your thumb on the top and you can put your fingers here on this thick part. because everything I'm making is microwave safe. So I usually, you got something, you want to make a bowl of soup, you put it in your bowl, heat it up in the microwave, but the edges of the bowl are really hot. So I pick it up like that. You can see I'll do it with both hands. And if I put enough fingers on the bottom there, I can carry it without burning my fingers. And these are going to go fast because these are already trimmed these up on the wheel. Just blew some dirt into my eyes. That's all right. This is a little bit of pocket sand. Very mild. So what I'm doing now is, see if you can see, there's that little bit of that line in the rim there, and I don't want it there. I don't want it. So we're gonna get rid of it. And I'm definitely gonna Brillo this one. See these right here? Don't want them. There, and you can see how, let me see if I can see it. You can see where I've done right here, this little bit, and just how much cleaner that looks. Gotta be careful. Almost bashed it up. All right. Still got a little bit, but I don't feel like. I drove down to Food Line this morning and picked them up. Stream would have started sooner, but I saw somebody I knew that I hadn't talked to in a while because I used to work there a million years ago. Yeah. Or if we go, when are you guys going to Sam's? I was turning around to see if I had poo paper. So that's where we get our toilet paper and our paper towels from. But yeah, if you were to do that, I would really appreciate that. Now I'm really excited. You said something's coming on Friday. It's like Christmas. Today's Tuesday, yeah. Ever since I quit the real world and started living in my artistic fantasy land, it's a little harder to keep up with the day of the week. Now, even when I was working my last job, I was so burnt out that I didn't know what the date was, but I always knew what day of the week it was. Now, one thing I try to do is while brilling, try to keep in line with the direction of the clay. Like, polish in circles. Don't go against the grain. crew. We were doing this in school one time, and somebody tried to tell me that Brilloing the pots was basically akin to cheating. Like, I haven't sat here for hours today just scraping. All right, dude. I'll talk to you later. And see you soon after that. Thanks for being here. Beautiful. All right, chat. I'm gonna be right back. Need to grab a food real fast. All right, chap. I'm back. Super fast. I just needed a couple mouthfuls of food to give me the energy to keep going. Oh yeah, we're getting there. This will be done real soon. Put it on the table right here, like that. Just gotta make sure it sits flat. Now these are the softest ones I've worked on today, so you can see the Brillo pad actually, it's not coming off so much as dust, it's kind of smearing a little bit, but I still think it's dry enough for us to do this too. It's not going to ruin it, is what I'm saying. And I want these to be done so I can load the kiln tomorrow. So let's scrape that flat. It sits flat. Give that a little bit of a spin there. And then we're gonna buff this line out. As you can see, I want that. I don't like it. But it's actually harder to buff out because it's wet. As you can see, we're starting to get here. So it's still a little too wet to just actually buff out with the Brillo. So I'm just going to carve it so just a hair against the grain. That way it kind of fills it in. It just makes it a little less pronounced. And then I'm going to go back and go over it with this with the grain again. Am I even making pottery if I'm not nitpicking it to death? Come on. All right. I'm gonna let that one ride. After I remember the signature. Here's something that's odd that I remember from art school. Starting off, I even was guilty of this, I guess, because you're just, you're learning and you're just not confident in your skills. But those first couple of years, when people are just like they're freshmen in the department or whatever, you practically have to twist their arms to get them to sign their work. But looking back now, is just like, to me, is just like kind of crazy. I guess it's just, at the time you're just not confident because you're still developing your skills. You're creating stuff that, like, as a student you should like still be proud of, but in that moment it just doesn't feel that way. Now I don't even care if I'm doing bad signatures like I'm doing now, where I'm just hand carving into it. I'm signing it. These fired pieces of rocks with my initials and fingerprints in them will still be here long after I am not. And I think that's pretty cool. Because every single thing that I make here will outlive me by thousands of years, even if they're buried in the dirt. Maybe some alien will dig it up and think it's a tiny hat and put it in a museum. One day. these actually don't really need much work at all. Pretty much just make sure it sits flat. Scrape some initials in the bottom. Clean up this rim a little bit here. Pretty sure these are like fingernail marks. When all this stuff is still wet, it's gonna happen no matter what. I keep my fingernails cut pretty short, but you are going to dig a nail into like everything that you make. And the way that you remedy that is, you can be more careful. It's not gonna matter. You're still gonna do it. But just fix it later. You guys think of that? Would you put flowers on this when it was done? And it was either blue, green, or yellow? Now this one I'll buff out a little bit. Can you see it? It's hard. There it is, kind of in focus. This is where my plastic was touching when I was slow drying it. It's kind of hard to hold. It's thick. All right, chat, we got 3 more of these guys to do, and then I'm going to have to call it a day on the stream. Me and the wife got to go by Lowe's. Got a lot of big things going on. A little bit of a lump there. Let's get that off. You don't want to keep that from stopping us from sitting flat. Buff it out. Then I've got this weird dig here. But what we'll do is we'll make it work for us. I'm going to work it in the signature. Check our rim. All right. last one for the day. And this one is my favorite. Of everything that I've done I threw last week, I love this one. I might keep this one. Maybe not. We'll see. If my hand fit around it better, I feel like if the stem here was taller, I'd probably keep it and use it as a cup, honestly. I think it'd be a really cool drinking cup. But my palms are too fat. Pretty cool. I just wish the stem was taller. And there is one problem with it though. Doesn't sit flat. It's got a wobble. So we're going to take that out. We're going to take that wobble out with a carving tool. So I think that my high spot is right here on that lip. So let's set it down. Nope. If you got a wobble, remember, always get the middle. We're close. It's coming out. This wobble's about to be gone. Oh, helicopter's going over. Sorry about the noise. All right, we got it. All right, chat. Well, hey, I just want to let you guys, I just want to thank everybody for being here today. First day of the new week. Like I was saying earlier, I haven't streamed as much this week so far. Just been busy with real life stuff. Trying to get my house in order. I'm cleaning up years of neglect, so I appreciate any patience you're willing to give me. But on that note, I think I'm going to call it a day, like I was saying. So thanks for being here, and I hope to see you again. Have a good one.